Welcome to Skytech-Lens, where engine oil meets geopolitics. The 2025 G7 summit in Kananaskis, Alberta, was anything but routine. President Trump's dramatic early exit left a leadership vacuum. Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, seized the moment. Carney turned the summit into a showcase of Canadian ambition, shifting global gears. He led on a defense pact with South Korea, jump-started Latin American investment, and launched a critical minerals alliance. This wasn't the quiet Canada of old. It was a nation revving its engine on the world stage. Canada positioned itself as a serious contender, ready to drive the global conversation. The moves in the Rockies sent shockwaves through the international order. Let's break down the strategic plays that could reshape global alliances. First up, the Canada-South Korea Defense Pact, a true systems upgrade. Carney and President Lee didn't just sign a deal, they launched a new era of Indo-Pacific security cooperation. This partnership dives deep joint development of AI-driven surveillance, cyber defense, and unmanned aerial vehicles. It's about pooling resources and co-engineering the tools for a turbulent world. For President Lee, making his G7 debut, choosing Canada signaled Seoul's intent to diversify alliances. The symbolism was clear: two nations, separated by the Pacific, forging a flexible, networked security bond. The pact recognizes that Euro-Atlantic and Indo-Pacific security are linked. Threats to one concern the other. By strengthening their defense industrial base, both nations boost global stability. The joint press conference was a masterclass in modern diplomacy, focusing on empowerment and innovation. The agreement includes integrated training, cyber teams, naval forces, and more, turning paper promises into real-world readiness. Economically, joint tech development will spur innovation and create high-tech jobs. Canada and South Korea move from tech consumers to co-creators, recalibrating the regional balance. For Canada, it cements Pacific credentials. For South Korea, it expands strategic depth. This was Canada's opening salvo at the G7, taking the lead, not following the convoy. The Defense Pact isn't just a bilateral milestone, it's the first turn in a new global race. Both nations just hit the accelerator. The world took notice. New centers of influence are forming. This alliance is a blueprint for agile, future-ready security. Canada's message: it's ready to innovate, lead, and defend. The G7's tone was set. Canada was in the driver's seat. The global security landscape just shifted gears. Next, Carney fired up a new economic engine, targeting Latin America and the Caribbean. Forget standard aid. This was a $400 million portfolio guarantee to turbocharge sustainable development. Canada acts as a co-signer, de-risking investments and unlocking private capital for climate resilience and inclusive growth. Funds target renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and coastal protection, building economies that can weather climate change. The initiative also empowers small and medium-sized businesses, especially those led by women and Indigenous entrepreneurs. It's about building equity and dynamism from the ground up. Strategically, this strengthens Canada's ties in the Americas and builds influence through partnership, not coercion. It's a sharp contrast to debt-trap diplomacy. Canada's approach fosters self-sustaining growth. The plan leverages market-based solutions, using guarantees to maximize impact. Regional leaders praised the move as a game-changer and true partnership. It was a diplomatic win. Canada listened and delivered meaningful action. The plan aligns economic, foreign, and climate policy, creating new markets for Canadian clean tech. It's a long-term investment in a shared, sustainable future. Canada sees Latin America as an opportunity, not a problem. This is more than finance, it's a vote of confidence in the region's potential. The Americas now have a new partner for prosperity. Canada's economic playbook is modern, efficient, and inclusive. The G7 saw a new model for development finance. Canada's leadership is about building, not just giving. The hemisphere's economic engine is running hotter than ever. Canada is helping pave the road, the world is watching. While building shields and engines, Canada secured the global economy's fuel line. Enter the Critical Minerals Alliance, a strategic pact to re-engineer the supply chain for essential resources: lithium, cobalt, nickel, rare earths. These power everything from smartphones to EVs. For years, China dominated this sector, creating a massive vulnerability. The alliance brings together resource-rich and manufacturing nations to build a secure, ethical supply chain, independent of China. The goal: break the monopoly, ensure a stable transition to green energy, and take back control of the economic drivetrain. High environmental and social standards set this alliance apart. Canada, with vast reserves and a strong regulatory framework, is the ideal anchor. The alliance will coordinate investment, share data, and fund R&D for cleaner processing. Building midstream capacity outside China is a top priority. If successful, the alliance will accelerate the green transition and stabilize global markets. Automakers and tech firms now have a reliable alternative. Carney framed this as strategic resilience, not confrontation. It's about building a balanced, robust system where no single country holds all the cards. Canada's new foreign policy is assertive, resource-driven, and future-focused. The Critical Minerals Alliance is a foundational move for the 21st century economy. Canada also tackled a borderless threat: climate-fueled wildfires. The new national strategy puts AI at the heart of wildfire defense. Advanced sensors and satellites feed data to an AI engine, detecting fires before they're visible to the human eye. The system predicts fire behavior, giving crews a crucial head start. The next step: autonomous drone swarms, ready to drop fire retardant with precision. This tech-driven approach shifts wildfire management from reactive to predictive. It's about augmenting human expertise with machine learning and automation. The result: smarter, faster, and more effective firefighting. By presenting this at the G7, Canada offered a global blueprint for climate resilience. Carney positioned it as a solution to share with any nation facing similar threats. The initiative also boosts Canada's AI and robotics industries, creating high-tech jobs. Canadian companies now lead in climate adaptation technology. The move resonated with G7 leaders, uniting them around innovation for a shared crisis. Canada's AI fire defense is a symbol of its new identity: innovative, proactive, and collaborative. It blends tech prowess with environmental stewardship. In a world of climate anxiety, Canada's shield offers hope. The message: we can innovate our way to a safer, more resilient future. Canada is building a better storm shelter for all. All these moves add up to a fundamental shift. Canada is no longer a passenger in global affairs. The 2025 G7 summit was when Canada grabbed the steering wheel. Prime Minister Carney's unique blend of finance and diplomacy let him build coalitions others couldn't. Canada embraced multilateralism as others turned inward, stepping into the void left by a more isolationist US. On the sidelines, Canada quietly negotiated a new security and trade framework with the EU, deeper cooperation on cybersecurity, disinformation, and sanctions. Carney's diplomacy balances old allies and new partners, building a resilient network based on shared interests. The Canadian delegation set the G7 agenda, driving the conversation with actionable proposals. Analysts now talk about the Kananaskis Doctrine, a proactive, pragmatic, values-driven foreign policy. Canada leverages its resources, tech, and honest broker reputation for maximum influence. With leadership comes risk. Canada will face scrutiny and pushback. But the message from Kananaskis is clear. Canada is ready for the challenge. It's shed its quiet image and embraced a new role as a proactive global leader. Canada is now working to rewrite the rules for a new era. The world left Kananaskis changed. Canada moved closer to the epicenter of global power. Leadership today is about vision, innovation, and alliance building. Canada has the keys, a full tank, and its foot on the accelerator. The tectonic plates of power have shifted. Canada's ambition is now impossible to ignore. The G7 saw a new kind of leadership, one that builds, connects, and drives. The road ahead is Canada's to navigate. So, what's the final diagnosis? Carney's global engine roars to life. The Kananaskis summit wasn't just a meeting, it was a message. Canada stepped into the driver's seat, showing ambitious, pragmatic leadership. From defense pacts to economic growth, critical minerals, and AI fire defense, Canada started building a better future. This wasn't about filling a temporary vacuum, it was a long-term play for global influence. The initiatives here could reshape supply chains, security, and climate action. The road ahead is long, but Canada's made its move. What do you think? Is Canada ready to lead? Will these alliances disrupt the status quo? Drop your thoughts below. Your insights fuel the conversation at Skytech-Lens. Subscribe for more. This is your pit stop for global power shifts and innovation.